מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב הוא יברך את חיילי צבא הגנה לישראל הוא יברך את חיילי צבא הגנה ארצנו וערי אלוהינו מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים מן הים הגדול עד לבוא הערבה ביבשה את ריבנו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה מכל נגע ומחלה וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויעטרם בחטא ישועה ועטרת ניצחון ויקוים בהם הכתוב
Good evening. My name is Alex Katz. And I'm an extraordinarily proud member of the Vod of Kehillat Eretz Hemdah in Yerushalayim. Over the last 2.5 weeks, our Kehillat has had hundreds of volunteers mobilizing together with Klal Yisrael to do everything in our power to back up are brave heroes. But guess what? 2.5 weeks in, everyone in this room, everyone around the world watching, we're exhausted. We ourselves need Chizuk. I need Chizuk. I could break down crying right now talking about it. And you know what? We are so fortunate to have brought in such an A-team of reinforcements for us from Chutz La'aretz to give us Chizuk tonight, and world-renowned musicians who have come to say, Hineni, I'm here. What can I do to help you? You in this room. You who baked challah. You who drove. I have no words. I've borne witness to this firsthand. And I said this to our Kehillat, and I'll tell you, every one of you right now, that I am 100% certain that we will win this war. And how do I know it? Because I look around this room, and I think of everybody watching right now, and I know everything that's gone into the last 2.5 weeks, having been part of it. If I even tried to list a fraction of the chasadim that I was witness to, I can't, and I won't, because it's too many people to name, and it's too many chasadim to detail. So tonight, this night is for me, this night is for every one of you, and I hope that the people you're going to hear from tonight are going to take as much chizuk from this room back to Chutz La'aretz as they are for sure going to leave with us here tonight. I hope you enjoy.
Sei saviv enaich, hura'u, kulam nikbetzu ba'olach. It's incredible to be in this room. My name's Benji, Levy. I'm a proud member of the Vard and of Kehillat Eretz Hemdah. And tonight is about tefillah and sa'aka. It's about achdut and it's about chizuk. And in Yirtzeh Hashem, we should place our small part into bringing out a Yeshua for all of Klal Yisrael. B'mheira v'yameinu v'nomar amen. The Bar KEH, the first Belzer Rebbe, famously asked the question that every Monday and Thursday we say Yehi Ratzon. We say it should be your will. And then we say Yehi Ratzon, it should be a will. Yehi Ratzon, it should be a will. Yehi Ratzon, it should be a will. We're davening to Hashem. And the final Yehi Ratzon does not begin Yehi Ratzon. It begins with the words Achenu Kol Beit Yisrael. And ask the Bar KEH, why does it start Achenu Kol Beit Yisrael? Shouldn't it be consistent and say Yehi Ratzon? And he says a beautiful answer. He says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Hashem, Achenu Kol Beit Yisrael, when our sisters and brothers come together, it is synonymous. It is exactly the same as saying Yehi Ratzon. It is saying to Hashem, may it be your will, and the Achdut and the Chesed and the incredible things that we've seen over the last few weeks, which Hamas came to try fight us, and they made us stronger and they brought us together. And what we've witnessed, what we have felt through Kehillat Eretz Hemdah, we started off Aniyei Ircha Kodmim. We started off with our own members, those who are in Miluim, our own Rav who was in Miluim, our own friends, our family, and it just started to go more and more. Millions of dollars, tens of thousands of tzitzit, hundreds, thousands of meals, chalot. And when I look at the faces of our Kehillah here, I can tell you that we truly feel so proud, and it's unbelievable. So as we start off this amazing evening, let us remember that tonight is the yahrzeit of Mama Rachel, of Rachel Imenu. What greater night are we destined to say this than Rachel mevaka al baneha, than the matriarch that cried for her children to come home, who said, V'shavu vanim ligvulam, May they be brought home. We all know people. It's so hard. Rabbi Perez, a close friend of mine, son, doesn't know where he is. My brother's on the border right now, down south. There's people that need a refuah. There's people that need healing. In the schus of Mama Rachel, in the schus of everyone here coming together, in the schus of the incredible shira, the beautiful music you hear tonight, the divrei chizuk and the incredible words, we say on behalf of Eretz Hemdah, thank you so much to our community, and thank you to all those that are joining us, not just here, but all around the world. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei chesed, ki mitzion tetzei tefillah, udvar Hashem Yerushalayim. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Aryeh Lightstone, former Chief of Staff to Ambassador David Friedman, and I have the honor of serving as your MC this evening for this important evening of Chizuk. Chizuk means to become stronger, and my very first task this evening is to introduce one of the strongest representatives of the Jewish world, of the Jewish community, and the only member who is both a founding member of Kehillat Eretz Hemdah and of the Boca Raton synagogues and of the Boca Jewish Center, Ambassador David Friedman, who wished to extend his trip to be here with you this evening. He could not, but he sent a video instead. Please turn your attention to the video.
Hi, this is David Friedman, and I want to welcome Rabbi Goldberg, Rabbi Gibber, Rabbi Brody, Rabbi Dee to this special moment at the Jerusalem Theater to give Chizuk to the incredible people of Israel who are experiencing a challenge the likes of which they've never had before. This is the worst assault on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And we are fighting here an existential fight for the Jewish people. Thank God, we're winning. We're going to win. With all the challenges, with all the people who are suffering, all the people who are injured, the people who unfortunately are kidnapped and waiting for their families to return home, all the soldiers on the front, all the parents worrying about their children who are fighting for our country. There's so much concern in this country, but there's so much strength, an incredible amount of strength. And in a sense, Israel is giving chizuk to America right now because we're seeing what the Jewish people are capable of doing. But at the same time, everyone in America wants to help and give chizuk to Israel. And that's what tonight is about. And we're so grateful to have this outpouring of love and affection and support from America for the Jewish people. I love the rabbis of Boca. They're my dear friends. It's great to be here with Alex and his shul, Eretz Hemdah, of which I'm a member here as well. So it's very personal for me. But mostly, I just want to say that this past 2 weeks ago on Shabbat, as we experienced this incredible calamity, we also began saying the words Mashiva Ruach. We think of that in terms of the weather, bringing back wind and rain in the winter season. But 2 weeks ago, Shabbos, we really did have a different kind of Mashiva Ruach, the Ruach of the Jewish people. The spirit of the Jewish people was restored. All of us went from our different places in the world, our different political views, our different social strata, and we all came together as one. Nenatseach b'yachad. We will win this together, and we're so grateful for the outpouring of support from South Florida, from Alex and Eretz Hemdah, and from the Jewish people throughout the world. God bless all of you. Again, b'yachad, nenatseach.
I want to thank Ambassador Friedman on behalf of Kehillat Eretz Hemdah and the Rabbanim of South Florida who came here to give us chizuk. We hope that we can send back just as much chizuk from Yerushalayim where we are right now.
You will. Alex, thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much.
Ordinarily, I would tell you what a privilege it would be to be standing in front of you, but this is not an ordinary evening. These are not ordinary times. These are extraordinary times. And I don't know about you, but I feel incredibly awkward sitting in the Jerusalem Theater, prepared to listen to beautiful divrei Torah from incredible Rabbanim who've traveled literally across the world, to hear unbelievable music from music stars that we would pay thousands of dollars to come and hear in this very, very theater. So why are we here in the middle of a war? We're here to get instructions. We're here to receive chizuk. Some of you are in uniforms, and those who are in uniforms are absolute malachim. They're absolute angels walking in front of us who deserve the respect, the appreciation, the tefillot, and the hopes and desires, not just of the people of Israel, but the Jewish people around the world are looking to you to restore their pride, to restore their dignity, to restore their respect. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whose name was damaged 2.5 weeks ago, is relying upon you for the ultimate Kiddush Hashem, the ultimate victory. So what are the orders that we're going to get for those of us not wearing uniforms? For those of us are here as part of the army but aren't positive what our role is? Well, the secret is in the name of Chizuk. If you go to the gym and you wish to build a muscle, it only gets stronger if you rip it. Only by working harder than you could does that muscle grow back and become stronger. So if you leave this evening and said you enjoyed yourself, you did the wrong thing. If you leave this evening and you said that you were inspired, you did the wrong thing. If you leave this evening and you said this was interesting, but you've done the wrong thing. But if you do what the examples of Kehillat Eretz Hemdah and so many hundreds of thousands of people around the world and said the moment is called upon ordinary people to do extraordinary things, then you've done the right thing. And when you listen to the rabbis, don't just listen, but think. What are you going to take away? What is the extra thing that you are going to do to build the muscle of the Jewish people? What is the extra thing that you are going to do to become a part of the army that will enable the entire army to succeed? And with that, I just want to share two very brief thoughts. The first is, there is not a doubt that the number one goal of every Jewish boy and Jewish girl is to grow up and to be a mensch. I wish the same thing could be true of our neighbors. So the book that tells us how to be a mensch starts off very perplexingly. It says, wake up in the morning like a lion. Why would the book that teaches us how to act like human beings start off by saying, when you wake up in the morning, wake up like a lion? Seems a little bit confusing. Many of the Mefarshim on the side are puzzled by the same question, and the answer that resoundingly sticks with me today and has for the last 18 days is because a lion does not care what the zebra thinks about it. A lion does not care what the tiger says. A lion wakes up in the morning and a lion has one job, and the job is to fulfill its mission, regardless of any obstacles in its way, regardless of what anybody else might say, regardless of what anybody else might think. And that's our job. Our job isn't to rely on CNN or BBC or even any of the periodicals that might be more friendly towards us. Our job is we have a mifaked, we have a commander. Our commander is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have a country, it's called the State of Israel, and our job is to wake up like a lion. And it does not matter what anybody else says, because we know what is right and we know what we need to do, and we are going to do that together. It is too soon to talk about what has happened over the last 18 days. It'll take the Jewish people decades, centuries, thousands of years to truly comprehend what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen. All I have to tell you is that on Hanukkah, we're going to light Hanukkah candles. When we remember the miracle of a few people who stood up against the many. They've been remembered for these hundreds of years later, Litov. In 100 years from now, in 1,000 years from now, in 2,000 years from now, they will tell the story of the Jews and what they did over the last 18 days, what they will do over the next 18 days, and what they will do as the Jewish people restore their strength to Zion, to Jerusalem, and to the State of Israel. Thank you for being here. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. The Jewish people are indeed one, and geography does not divide us. Geography actually makes us stronger. We are everywhere, and we can accomplish anything. And one of the shlichim, one of the representatives of that very example is Rabbi Gibber. Rabbi Gibber, please share words of Chizuk.
I'm deeply grateful to Alex Katz on behalf of Kehillat Eretz Hemdah for all of the incredible efforts that have been made, on behalf of all of the very precious moments of the 3 days that myself and my esteemed colleagues, Rabbi Goldberg and Rabbi Brody, so much time and so much planning
so much sensitivity, and so much care. And when I asked Alex, who else is it appropriate to mention? He mentioned simply that it's a team effort, it takes a village, that there are so many that are on the board, an unbelievable, fledgling, but very powerful and confident and cohesive community. Kol hakavod to all of you. Thank you so much for your hospitality. It is really an honor for us all to be here. I would like to recognize your Rav, your Morah Asra, Rabbi Pinchas Biton. Well, we had the great schus to be with him yesterday on the Lebanon border. The Rav of his Kfutza, the Rav of this Kehillat, when he was the Shliach Tzibur of Mincha yesterday, and when he was wearing his tefillin shel Rosh, his tefillin shel Yad, and the sincerity and the heartfelt tefillah, his prayers, his plea, his ernst, his genuine way, it resonated, it was profound, it was electrifying, it was inspiring. And so we are so truly grateful and indebted with gratitude and thanks to him and his leadership. Yes, we've come on a delegation for a few days, a Chizuk mission, my colleagues, Rabbi Efrem Goldberg, Rabbi Josh Brody. We traveled great distance to be here, not to be mistaken, it's not us that have come to give you Chizuk, but rather in the process of being in Artzenu Hakdosha, on Admas Kodesh, on this holy soil, in our beloved homeland in Eretz Yisrael, we are the ones who are the recipients of Chizuk. We have come merely to tell you that we love you, to give you hugs, to stand with you in solidarity, to tell you this is not about yours, your problem, your issue, your stress, your anxiety, your worry, but it is ours, Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, and we are merely representatives of our communities, representatives of the community in the diaspora. We are one people, and we stand with you, and we are together. We are an Am Echad, Belev Echad, KEH Echad, and we are here together. And it is a tremendous privilege, the chizuk that we received all day yesterday and today, standing with soldiers wounded in battle front lines, those who stood in the face of terror and the enemies, those with resiliency and compassion and a passion and a fortitude and a fierce confidence in the statehood and in the future of the Jewish people, the future of Klal Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael, and the unbelievable story that I had the privilege this morning to sit with the mayor of Sderot, when he told me not that we will capitulate nor shall we run, but we will rebuild, and we will rebuild strong. There will be centers of activity, homes and houses in the south that will repopulate and redouble efforts, and we will not kowtow to fear, to Hamas, to any nemesis and any adversary, but rather we will build. To hear the story of Sophia Orim, she told the story about how her husband ran on the very day on Simchas Torah from Beit Knesset, where her own son was on Shmirah watching, safeguarding, saving those who were in shul. And she told the story about how he was able to survive despite being wounded, almost mortally. To sit with thousands of people in hotels here in Yerushalayim all day, to see children and the innocence of their youth interrupted, the story and the pain and the hurt and the worry, but the resiliency and the strength and the passion and the determination. That is the chizuk that we are in our own way in receipt of over these few days, that we will bring back to our communities that stand with you, that are with you, that are you. I stand here representing the Boca Jewish Center community, and I'd like to recognize Mati and Debbie Drillman, who are here in person, who are with me, who represent our community, and all of you who are watching this live stream in Boca. I know who you are, and our community stands with you here in Israel. All of the packaging, for those of you that don't know, and perhaps now many of you already do know, that when we came in our delegation, 102 packages, oversized duffel bags, and El Al Airlines record checked in from Miami International Airport here to Israel to deliver supplies, packaged by the Boca Raton Synagogue, packaged by the Boca Jewish Center, for our brothers and sisters on the front lines. The packaging, the shopping, the supplies, the invitations and the writings of letters to our soldiers. How many thousands of dollars were pressed into our palms to deliver and to give out and support. How many prakim of Tehillim, how many times have we been Messiahim saying all of Sefer Tehillim? The learning, the doing mitzvos, the making shalom, the making peace. As I recounted last evening in an event in Beit Shemesh, there were two individuals who had machlokes with each other, and they found themselves packaging the same duffel bag. For many years, they didn't speak to each other, and they didn't realize that in the process of them packing the duffel bag with supplies to come to Israel, that they were packaging together. And when they realized, even though they were nemesis, they were adversaries, there was machlokes, there was dispute, there was dissension, they realized that they were standing next to each other. And when they realized that all of the narishkeit, all of the machlokes, it was unnecessary, they looked at each other, they started to cry, they warmly embraced, they held each other, they hugged each other. Shalom has happened. Achdus is happening. It makes no difference where you are, from where you're from. You wear a yarmulke, you don't wear a yarmulke. It's a kippah sruga, it's a velvet, it's a knitted. It makes no difference. We are an ish echad, we are one people, and there's an achdus that is unprecedented. Yes, because it is unprecedented times that have called us to be different. There's a famous story that's told of the Chafetz Chaim, that the Chafetz Chaim, when the communists came to power so many years ago, that the Chafetz Chaim felt the pain of the millions of Jews who found themselves trapped in the evil empire by that which was holding them from being able to freely perform Torah and mitzvos. They were unable to do and to worship as they had wished. And finally, when the Rav of Slutsk, Rav Yechatzkel Abramsky, when it was that he was arrested and he was exiled to Serbia, the Chafetz Chaim stood up in his yeshiva in Raton in Europe. And he got up and he said, he was crying, he said, Adrasha, what will be the fate of this holy and revered Gaon? What will be the fate of our brother, of the great sage? One of the esteemed members of the yeshiva followed up the very moving drasha of the Chafetz Chaim by getting up, and he announced that now we have to say Tehillim. It's a time for us to say Tehillim. But the Chafetz Chaim, he got up and uncharacteristically he interrupted this announcement to say Tehillim, and he said, what are we, a chevra that says Tehillim? This is not a time that we are to say Tehillim. This is a time that we have to scream out Tehillim. We have to cry out with the loudest tza'aka, with the greatest, most resounding, most powerful voice like never before. In Mitzrayim, they screamed out, and in that merit they were saved any time, and throughout the millennia, throughout the years of difficulty and hardship and struggle. It was a tza'aka. It was a tza'aka calling out, a tza'aka gedola, not a dibur ba'alma. It wasn't merely just saying Tehillim. It wasn't simply doing chesed. It was an enormous act of chesed that came from every fiber of my being. It was crying Tehillim every hour on rotation, scrolling and saying, doing, because it's unprecedented times. How we've come together as a people, it's unprecedented. How we've been davening, how we've been learning, how we've been doing for each other. It's unbelievable, it's extraordinary, and that's who we are. As the Pasuk tells us in the beginning of Sefer Shemos and Parshas Shemos, Vatiftach vatireu es hayeled v'hinei nar bocha. Famously, we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was in a basket and he was headed upstream to what seemed to be his imminent demise. When it was Bas Paro, she comes, Vatiftach vatireu, and she opens up this basket and she sees Hayeled Vanar Boche, and the child is crying, and she says V'toymar, and she says about this child, it is Ha'ivrim Zeh, this is a Jewish child. Ask the Balaturim, 1 second, we know that while we think that it's describing the same person, Moshe Rabbeinu, it's actually not. Yeled and Na'ar are two different words that connote the description of two different stages of people. One stage is a child, a little boy, a yeled, and a nar is a lad, a little bit older. And he says because a nar was talking not about Moshe, but was rather talking about Aaron. Vatiftach vatireu es hayeled, she opened up and she saw the little boy. And Moshe, he wasn't crying, but she saw v'hinei nar boche. Who was crying? It was Aaron, it was his brother who was standing on the bank to see what will be with his brother. And she saw that if this person is crying for that person, it must be, Vatomer, she said, this is a Jewish child. What makes us recognizable to each other that we are Jews is when we cry for each other. We stand for each other. We stand with each other because we are one people. That is who we are. That's how we are identified. That is how we are recognized. And so we're so connected. We're all connected. The pain, the worry, the stress, the seriousness of the moment that has demanded our attention. We're not merely in theater for entertainment. We're here tonight for Chizuk, to use the power of tefillah, the power of song, the power of together, the power of our coming for this very auspicious evening of Chizuk, to be inspired together as a people, no matter where we are, no matter what the circumstance. But we're here. We're here together. We take responsibility for each other. We take responsibility for our own and all of our collective success in every single way. Vatiftach, vatireu es hayeled, vihine nar. We're the nar that is boca. We're the nar that cries. We cry for each other because we are one. We're one people. We're one nation. And we sit together. We learn together. We're inspired together. And in this way, we take responsibility for each other because the moment is so precious. The moment is so desperate. The moment demands our seriousness, our reflection, our introspection. It demands that we are the very greatest and best version of ourselves here and now so that we can support each other. Our precious soldiers in uniform and all of us who are in active duty in uniform and not in uniform, we call upon ourselves to support each other now because the time is great. I'll just conclude with the famous remarks of Chatzkel Levenstein, the famous Mir Mashgiach, who in 1946, he was recovering from the destruction of the inferno of Europe of the Holocaust. The Nazis, Yamach Shemam V'Zichram, representative of Amalek, representative of Hamas, of Hezbollah, of all and every nemesis and adversary and antagonist and enemy of the Jewish people from then and hence and forth forever. Because of Kol Yaakov V'Yadayim, Idei Esav. He relented and he reflected. He said that he was sitting with a number of individuals who they were reminiscing that the years that they were learning in Shanghai, why it was that the years that they were learning in Shanghai while they were on the run, while they were in transportation and they were on the move, why it was that those were some of the most profound and most meaningful, most precious years of learning in the yeshiva. And this is what he said. How it was that they were so elevated. Why it was that they were so successful. Why it was they were so determined, he said. Because over here in Shanghai, we learned with a profound sense of achrayus, with a tremendous sense of taking responsibility. Because they had received reports that Hitler, Yamach Shemo V'Zichro, had finished off the Jews. That's the report that they had heard when they were in Shanghai. We thought that we Jews in Shanghai were the only survivors left in the Torah world. We thought that the future of Yiddishkeit was literally on our shoulders, and it was our responsibility. When you feel a sense of achrayus, a sense of responsibility, everything is elevated. Everything is more intense. Everything matters more. Dear friends, here and abroad, those who will be listening to the stream later, and those of you here in person, the achrayus, the responsibility, it's on our shoulders. The nemesis, the adversary, calls for our annihilation, our extermination. But Am Yisrael Chai, the Jewish people, live and are strong, taking responsibility now like never before, raising our voice in unison, recognizing that now is the time to be the very best version in the greatest sense of self. And with that, we take responsibility. The words that I share with you in my final moments here, before I leave the podium for others to share their remarks. I share with you the words of 99-year-old Buchenwald survivor, Mayor Rappaport, who I'm sure is watching right now from Boca Raton. Survived the Holocaust with Rabbi Yisrael Meir Lau, Shlita, former chief rabbi of Israel. He pointed to his numbers before I left and he said to me, Rabbi, tell all of the Toshvei Eretz Yisrael, tell all of the Jews in Israel that they should be resilient and strong and powerful. Together we will prevail. That Am Yisrael Chai, that the Jewish people are Chai, that we will be victorious. We stand together, we live together, we learn together, we grow together. Yiratzon milfanecha, it should be the will of the Almighty, and the merit of us coming together for a night, an evening of Chizuk, with words of inspiration and song and solidarity, that the Almighty should hear our tefillos. We should have Yeshua's Hashem, keheref ayin, Kehillat Raton, chazak, chazak, v'nischat lek.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Gibber. I'd like to introduce Eli Schwebel to come to the stage to sing a couple of songs. Want to give a special shout out to Kehillat Eretz Hemdah that not only immediately came to the needs for vests and helmets and so many other things that soldiers need, but immediately transitioned to tzitzit and kippot and tashmishe kedusha that our soldiers need to protect themselves from a spiritual perspective. This evening is about both things, giving the soldiers what they need physically and spiritually.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Gibber. As always, I'm sad to see you here, but you fill my soul with your words. So, okay, this song is one of my favorite and deepest songs, and I had this translated into Hebrew for tonight. I know we have an English-speaking audience, but there's a lot of you here from the Shtibel that will appreciate this. So, here we go. Oh, I know that God in heaven won't forget. Yeah, man, I barely got through that just now. Thank you for listening to that. It means like that's the first time that I performed that. I got that done a long time ago, and I just never could release it. And then the words were staring at me, and I said, "Oh my God." Anyway, this next song, I just fell in love with, and I've never felt more Achdus and Jewish in my life. I stayed here for the Milchama when I found out it was going on, and I was just like, I was here for Sukkot, and I just had to stay, and I've been going around to all the bases playing, and I have to play. Yeah, it's been amazing. Really. And I've been playing Israeli songs because they don't speak a word of English, most of them. So I had to learn these songs, and one of these songs is just my favorite. I had to. Anyway, I'm in love with this song. Hanan Ben-Ari, you're amazing. I'm a big fan. 1, 2, 3. כבר שנים שאני לא דומה, כבר שנים שבלי סיבה אני מוצאת עצמי מתגעגע, מחפשת לי תשובה. תראה אותי, תיתן לי יד, אני אחת שמוכנה להשתנות. תבוא תראי לי את ימיי, לא יפה גנוז כמעט מיליון דור. ואז אני אהיה כמו שמש לעולם, אהיה כמו ציפור נודדת במרחב. אתה תהיה לי מלך לעולם, מודה אני לך הדרך שנשמעתי. תראה אותי, תיתן לי יד, אני אחת שמוכנה להשתנות. תבוא תראי לי את ימיי, ההוא יפה גנוז כמעט מיליון דור. ואז אני אהיה כמו שמש לעולם, אהיה כמו ציפור נודדת במרחב. אתה תהיה לי מלך לעולם, מודה אני לך הדרך שנשפטתי.
Thank you, Eli, for songs that truly touch not only our hearts, but our souls. From standing up here, having the opportunity to introduce the next speaker, he has done an unbelievable job at revolutionizing the Torah atmosphere in my community of Renana, but truly throughout the world as the founder and director of the Smichas Chaver program and the rabbi of KEH in Renana. I want to recognize Rav Elyada Goldwicht, but before doing that, I want to comment just on his wife and his children here this evening. When you see them together, those of you who are watching streaming, you won't be able to see this. But if you want to know heroes that will not be on the front page of the paper, heroes who will not be up here to speak, but the Rebbetzin representing all of the women who are at home doing work and family and all of the rest of that. and the kids who are doing everything. They deserve not just a round of applause, but your hearts and your tefillos. Rabbi Goldwicht, please.
ברשות המר דאתרא, הרב ביטון שליטה, ברשוס, לא שומעים. ברשות הרב, Rabbi Gibber, Rabbi Efrem Goldberg, Rabbi Lightstone, all the other Rabbanim that I'm forgetting, my good friends and Chavrusa, Alex and Richard, we learn every Monday night. I look around this room, and this room seats 300 people. That's what it says on the flyer. So you can look to your right, you can look to your left, and then think that not this amount of people got killed, not double this amount of people got murdered, 4 times the amount of people who are sitting in this room were murdered 2.5 weeks ago. Men, women, children, young, old. Every person is a story. Every person is a soul. But there's one thing that gives me chizuk when I look around this room, because I look around this room and I see how lucky each and every single one of you are. And all those listening, wherever you're listening. Do you know why every single one of you are extremely lucky? Because you are part of the most incredible nation in the world called Am Yisrael. Mi ke'amcha Yisrael. And I want to share with you just 3, I guess you can call them stories, 3 things that I experienced in the past 2.5 weeks, and 3 messages that I learned from them that hopefully will resonate with you, Mi ke'amcha Yisrael, and how lucky you are to be a Yid. 2 Simchas Torah 2 weeks ago. My phone rings on Shabbos, but it's off. It's in my room. I don't carry my phone on Shabbos. Only on Mochi Shabbos, I realized I was already called up as part of the Chavra Kadisha that works for the army. And the first week, we get to Machane Shura, and it is chaos. Hundreds of bodies, hundreds of Kedoshim who gave up their life just because they're Jewish. And we're doing whatever we could to work as quickly as possible to make sure that every single Jew gets his cover that's deserved. Every single Jew, we try to identify them as quickly as possible because we know that every minute that's wasted, that's a family that's waiting. Where's my son? Where's my daughter? Where's my father? Where's my brother? Where's my sister? Where's my wife? And we take that very seriously. There's one halacha that I want to share with, and it's one thing that we did. The halacha is that even if a drop of blood comes out, you have to clean it up, and it's buried with a nifter. Every part of a Yid is precious. Every part of a Jew is holy. There was, in between truckloads, we had a few minutes to rest, and there was an American general, I don't even know who he was, who came to the base just to see the horrors of what was going on. And since I'm the one that speaks English, so I was the representative. Here, go speak to our American friends. So I go up to him, and I tell him what we are experiencing, but then I share with him this halacha, that even the small drop that comes out, we quickly clean it up, and we bury it with a nifter, with the kadosh, with the one that was deceased, with the one that was murdered. And he was shocked. He was bewildered. What, really? In the American army, we take a hose and we hose it all down. It's over. The lesson that I learned from this halacha, the message that I learned from this halacha, ki hadam hu hanefesh. Every person here is filled with blood. Every single person here is filled with his neshama. Your neshama is pure no matter what you do. Your neshama, your body, your soul is so kadosh. Mi ke'amcha Yisrael. You're part of a nation that every single part, every single iota of your neshama is holy. You can sin, you can do avirus. That doesn't affect your soul. Those are things that cover your soul. But your soul will always remain pure. Mi ke'amcha Yisrael. Second thing that I saw, second thing that I experienced. When we were going in the beginning, in the first few days, so there were family members that were coming to the base. They wanted to know, could we get answers? And thank God it didn't happen to me, but a friend of mine, as he was going in, a mother grabs him by his feet and says, "Did you see my daughter?" And she takes a picture out, and she starts crying. And he starts crying also with her. Why? Because it's not just her daughter, it's our daughter. Am Yisrael, we're a family, we're a unit. When I went to visit a shiva of one of the soldiers that got killed, what happened was, I share with them, it's not your personal loss, it's Am Yisrael's loss. And then the last story that I want to share with you. The last story is this past week, after we dealt with all the Kedoshim, last week we went to a different place where all the terrorists were. And we took a DNA sample from each one. Do you know why? Because what happened on that fateful day, on that Shabbos Kodesh, there were civilians that came, and they ran. And they came dressed in civilian uniform, and they took a gun. And they jumped into the line of fire, and they killed a terrorist. And then they picked up his Kalashnikov, and they kept running, kept trying to save Am Yisrael, and then they got killed. But then when the army came and freed the area a day or two later, they saw a guy in shorts and a t-shirt, and he's holding a Kalashnikov. They assumed he was a terrorist. So from each body, we took a sample DNA to make sure that one of the people that was there was not a Jew. And I can tell you definitively today that we found 4 Jewish people among that. That's 4 Jews that are brought to Kvuras Yisrael. If they were married, that's 4 agunas that we saved. Mi ke'amcha Yisrael. This is what we do to go after, to find a Jew after he's nifter. Can you imagine the value that each and every single one of you have? Can you imagine the value that each one of you have? How incredible it is, Mi ke'amcha Yisrael. So the message that I share with you, and this is I'm closing. The message is, we've been through a lot. We suffered. But just like we get knocked down, we get up again. Mi ke'amcha Yisrael. Are you ready? Da-da-da-da-dam, di-di-da-da-hey. Ay, mi ke'amcha Yisrael. Di-di-da-la-la, di-di-la-la, hey.
Thank you, Rabbi Goldberg. I'd like to introduce the Solomon brothers and Eli to come back onto the stage.
These are some of my bandmates here. We've been going around together. Tell them about it.
Hey, first of all, it's so good to be here with you guys tonight on this very, very special night. So thank you. And I know Eli for a couple of years now, but we've never really gotten to play together. And Eli called me up last Wednesday, I think, I believe. And he's like, dude, we got to go and start playing for the soldiers. And I was like, okay. Next thing I know, we've been to every base in Israel, just playing for the soldiers. And, you know, it's... When you sit at home and you just watch the news and you just feel scared and, you know, and sad, and then you go out to these army bases and it's just like, you know, we thought we were coming to uplift their spirits, but the truth is we came out so much happier and uplifted and feeling safe. Like, if these are the people that are fighting for our country, we'll be okay, you know? So that being said, we'd like to play a little song, a little blessing song. This is a song that we had the honor to put on our last album with a special friend, Eitan Katz. It's called Yevarechecha. We're usually also 3 brothers, but our brother Sruli is on guard duty, so he wasn't able to make it tonight. But we'll have another brother coming out in just a minute. Yeah. יברכך השם וישמרך, יאר השם פניו אליך ויחונך, יברכך השם וישמרך, יאר השם פניו אליך ויחונך, אוי פניו אליך ויעשה, אוי לך שלום, יישא השם, אוי פניו אליך over here on the violin, folks. Thank you. Thank you, Eli Schwebel. Filling in for those harmonies, for sure. Eli's becoming honorary Solomon, brother, or we've become honorary Schwebels.
You know numbers, I don't know. We'll see. I'll get Dad in the room here. Figure it out.
All right, so we grew up on Moshav Modi'in. I'm assuming we're speaking English tonight. I have no idea, but it's all Americans, okay. So we'd like to play a song by Rabbi Shlomo Karlibach, and I'm sure you guys all know it. Actually, the hashtag of this war has been Am Yisrael Chai, which was written by Rabbi Shlomo, it's so special to see, no matter where you go and you're religious, not religious, everybody knows that song and sings it, and it's so uplifting. This is not Am Yisrael Chai, this is Leman Chai in G minor. This is the house of the Lord. We wish the best for you. Oh, this is the house of the Lord. We wish the best for you. Sing it with me. Oh, Leman Chai ve'Yad. Oh, Leman Chai ve'Yad. Adavana, Adavana, Shalom ba. Oh, Leman Chai ve'Yad. Leman Chai. Because of my brothers and friends, because of my sisters and friends, please let me sing, please let me pray, peace to you, because of my brothers and friends. Hashem Elokeinu Avad Tov La. Thank you, that was beautiful. Thank you for the singing. All right, I have the special honor of calling up my older brother from Moshav band, Mr. Yehuda Solomon, folks.
All right, we're going to replace the Schwebel with the Solomon. That's what's going to happen over here. Unless I can just watch from here, but I think I'll give you the space. How's that? All right.
Hi, Erev Tov, good evening. Such an honor to be here, playing with my brothers. Yeah, like my brother said, we've had the honor of going around and playing for soldiers all over the country. And the song that I want to sing right now is a song that I've recorded on one of my earlier albums. It's called Malachim. Malach is Rashi Tevos, Ki Mechakim Anachnu Lach. Hashem, we're waiting for you, right? And we've lost so many holy Malachim. But the truth is we're gaining so many holy Malachim are coming down, and so many holy Malachim are protecting us on the front lines. So we're praying, Hashem, keep them safe, bring them home. Ki Mechakim Anachnu Lach. אבא אמר לי שיש לי מילה לדבר איתך לפני שאתה עוזר. יש אנשים טובים שם, יש אנשים רעים, לא משנה אם תלך, רק לך עם האלוקים. דע לך שמלאכים שומרים עליך בצאתך ובבואך. יום לפני שנסעתי אבא אמר תקשיב, אל תצפה לקבל יותר ממה שאתה מקריב. זה את האוקיינוס, תיסע מחוף לחוף, כל מה שאתה עושה ימצא אותך בסוף. דע לך שמלאכים שומרים עליך בצאתך ובבואך. מלאכים שומרים עליך, מלאכים שומרים עליך. יום לפני שנסעתי אבא אמר תשמע, תמיד תמיד קשה להגיד אני אוהב אותך, אבל אני בדיוק כמוך, כולי סקרנות ותשוקה. ויום אחד תהיה כמוני גם ותגיד לבן שלך. דע לך שמלאכים שומרים עליך בצאתך ובבואך. מלאכים אומרים עליך בצאתך ובבואך.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniel Hoffman. We have one more song for you. This song is called World on Fire. The message of the song is that no matter how crazy the world is, the whole world's on fire. We can turn it around and start all over. And that's the gift that Hashem gives us. Bereshis. The world was created with beginnings. And it's so beautiful the way everyone is together right now. We have to keep this. We have to hold on to this. Am echad belev echad. We have to hold on to this. Because this is Mashiach energy right now.
Everybody got their heads in the clouds, heart beating like a train on the ground, high speed on the clock ticking down. Turn it around, start over. Epidemic of the world is fear. Try running, but we're all still here. You can't grow nothing when you water with tears. Turn it around, start over. Can't win, can't lose. I need you. Can't breathe, can't move, can't live without you. The whole world's on fire, flames are getting higher. We'll carry each other, turn around and start all over. I can feel the danger when everyone's a stranger. We'll carry each other, light a flame and start all over. Everybody got their hands in their pockets, plugged in, tied down to the socket. 3, 2, 1, blast off like a rocket. Turn it around, start over. Sickness in your heart is real. You know it takes some time to heal. Broken dream and a spinning wheel. Turn it around, start over. Can't win, can't lose. I need you. Can't breathe, can't move, can't live without you. The whole world's on fire, flames are getting higher. We'll carry each other, turn around and start all over. I can feel the danger, everyone's a stranger. We'll carry each other, light a flame and
Thank you. Toda rabba. Thank you.
Wow, give it up for the Solomon brothers and the Moshav band. They may look like a band, but from my heart they are balei tefillah. They weren't singing songs, they were davening, carrying our thoughts and our hopes up to Shemaim. For the thousands of viewers who are watching, there's a QR code on your screen. Please click on it. Please see an opportunity to partner with Kehillat Eretz Hemdah in providing Tzahal, the Israeli Defense Forces, not just for their material needs, but for their spiritual needs. If you are inspired in some way this evening, please make sure to click on that QR code. 15 years ago, my wife and I had a healthy baby boy, and we did not have anybody to name him after. And we thought what was going to be the midah that would carry him through the challenging times that were for sure to be ahead, looking at Jewish history in the past and knowing what the future possibly could have. We chose the name Akiva because Akiva was able to overcome all odds. Akiva had the mitzvah d'oraisa to be optimistic. In each and every generation, we have an opportunity to see somebody who did not choose to be Akiva, but rose up to be Akiva. Our next speaker to inspire us this evening is the Akiva of our generation. Rabbi Leo Dee, please come and share words.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbonim, friends, Kehillat Eretz Hemdah, Kehillat Boca Raton. It's a pleasure to be with you here this evening. When we switched on our phones on that Motzei Simchat Torah this year, we felt horror, disgust, fear, shock, sadness. If I had a 1,000-word thesaurus, I couldn't do justice to how we felt then and those feelings that we have now about the scenes that we saw and we continue to see and the stories that we continue to hear. And I think that there are two genuine, kosher, valid ways as Jews to respond to this shock. And they're given in our tradition. And the first is that of Job. And Job is struck with every possible tragedy, and then he sits at home and his friends come to visit him and they discuss, is Job good, is Job bad? Did he deserve it, did he not deserve it? Is God good, is God bad, did he care, does he not care? And every permutation of those particular discussions. After 42 chapters, there doesn't seem to be much of a decision as to whether any of these things are true. Thank God at that point, God grants Job some good, and the book comes to an end. And our rabbis say, possibly it never happened, and if it did happen, probably Job was not Jewish. And I don't think that that is the model for dealing with tragedy, sitting at home on our telephones, looking at the latest feeds, philosophizing why it happened, should it have happened, and could it have happened, and what did we do, and what did we do right, what did we do wrong? I think there's a second model, and it's interesting that Rav Aryeh just mentioned that and I don't think he had any inside knowledge. But the second model is actually Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, who lost 24,000 of his students in a period of 7 weeks, which is 500 levayas a day, about a third of what we experienced on Simchat Torah. Rabbi Akiva, who probably lost all his best friends, most of his family, and everything, his life's work, 24 years of work, probably to the Roman soldiers during the Bar Kokhba rebellion. But Rabbi Akiva didn't disappear into oblivion, he didn't go into depression, but instead he handpicked 5 students, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he trained them up to become the rabbis of the Mishnah. And because of him and because of that optimism, we have the Torah that we have today. It was Rabbi Akiva who saw the destruction of the Second Temple, and he laughed. And his friend said, "Why are you laughing?" He said, "Because there are 2 prophecies. There was one that it was going to be destroyed, and there was a second that it will be rebuilt. Until I saw it destroyed, I didn't believe it would be rebuilt. Now I've seen it destroyed, I will see it rebuilt." And there's a third story of Rabbi Akiva when he's being killed. His skin is being torn off him with hot combs, and he shouts out, "Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad," which is an expression of optimism in the future. And we see this incredible personality of Rabbi Akiva, that when his friends and his family are destroyed and his life's work is destroyed, he sees a reason to be optimistic. And when the temple is destroyed, this is the dream of the Jewish people for 500 years, he sees reason to be optimistic. And when he's being massacred by the terrorists, the Hamas terrorists of his time, he sees reason to be optimistic. What was it about Rabbi Akiva which gave him that feeling of optimism? And I think it's not very difficult to see where he would have found that optimism. He looked into the Torah and he saw the stories of the Tanakh. For example, we were slaves for 80 years in Egypt and we came out and immediately we received the Torah. He had Ruach HaKodesh. Maybe he foresaw that we would be slaves in the death camps of Europe. And within 3 years, we'd be establishing the state of Israel. He might have seen with Ruach HaKodesh that we were 6 days digging graves around Israel, thinking that this was going to be the second Shoah, Chas v'Chalila. And then we received the Kotel, Yerushalayim, Yehuda v'Shomron. And now we are in such a tragedy that is greater than Yom Kippur War, that's greater than the War of Independence, which is being described as a Holocaust and is no less than a Shoah. And we can believe from learning from Rabbi Akiva and his life that this must be another step towards Geula. And on our list that we read 3 times a day in the Amidah, we know the next stage is Binyan Beit HaMikdash Shlishi. So that's where we are in this particular time frame. And we see also that in nature, this is built in. Tragedy turns into light. The Netivot Shalom says, you plant a seed, then if you looked at it from a camera under the ground, you'd see it destroyed completely, it would rot completely, and then suddenly a tiny little bit of green would come up and would rise and would turn into an oak tree that would last for 1,000 years. And I think God's fingerprints are all over this tragedy. It happened on Simchat Torah. I was at the early minyan, not because I am a tzaddik, but because I did 1 minute hakafot, and it's over very quickly. And we just finished Parshat Bereshit, when the first siren went off. And how apt. Tohu v'bohu, there was chaos, which is exactly what happened, not just on the day itself with the Arabs, but also the week before, with Jews fighting ourselves for the 2 years before, fighting each other, tohu v'bohu. And then Vayhi Or, Sunday morning, the whole world woke up to see a new light. And we know it's not the light of the sun, because the sun wasn't created. This was the light of truth. Everybody in the world could see there is a truth. We are good and they are evil. And the evil did us a favor by marching down the streets of New York, marching down the streets of London, marching down the streets of Paris, and demonstrating exactly who they were, celebrating this terrible atrocity and identifying themselves as if they're putting their hands up to say, we are evil. And so the question is, how do we react to this tragedy? I said at the Levaya for my daughters, I said, quoted Rabbi Soloveitchik, the question is not lama, why, the question is lama, for what reason? How do we react to what has happened? And I think there are 3 categories that we have to address. Pirkei Avot teaches us the world is built on 3 platforms or 3 pillars: Torah, Avodah, Gemilut Chasidim. On Torah, on Tefillah, and on action. Torah, first of all. When I and my family found ourselves in our tragedy 6 months ago to the day, the 7th of April, 7th of October, we felt that we were in a dark room and we were grabbing onto whatever was nearest to us. And Baruch Hashem, I had Rabbi Efrem's Emunah Shirim, which I'd built up. I had Torah, I had mitzvot, Masim Tovim, and some with the kids. And those were the things we were able to grab onto in our moment of need, in a moment of crisis. If, God forbid, we hadn't have had those, we would have grabbed onto depression and drugs, and maybe worse. And so the Torah that we learn in our lives, that we have at this point today, is what will help us through this crisis. It will tell us who we are and what we need to do. That's Torah. What about Tefillah? Tefillah is very odd, because on the face of it, Leo Dee, I'm telling God that I would like him to bring back our soldiers safe, well, and alive. I'd like him to bring back the hostages safe, well, and alive. And if Hashem hasn't already come to that conclusion, then who am I to change his mind? And actually, the person who explains this best is Rav Efrem, if you don't mind me quoting you. In a shir about 2 or 3 years ago, in his Emunah Shirim, he talked about a lottery winner in Florida who won a $150 million prize. The only problem was he never came to collect it. And for 6 weeks, I believe, they were advertising the number, the time and the date, and the shop in which it was bought near the shul in Boca Raton, and nobody came to collect it. And in the end, the money was recycled in the pot. And Rabbi Efrem said at the time, he said, this is a beautiful mashal, beautiful parable for prayer. He said, Hashem has got a $150 million prize for every single one of us, but all we need to do is bring the ticket. If we bring the ticket, if we come together as Am Yisrael with achdut, with complete unity, and we come to every shul and we scream out in prayer every day, from now, we will free the hostages and we will bring back all our soldiers safe, well, and alive. It's up to every single one of us and to ask all our friends and family abroad and all of Am Yisrael to come and to do this. We need to bring the ticket. That is prayer, and that will take us maybe 2 hours a day maximum. So the question is, what is the ultimate thing we can do? And I think this comes down to asiyah, to action. And when it comes to action, I think there are 3 things. Number one, I think Kehillat, Eretz, Hemdah is absolutely exemplary in this, packing boxes and work as a logistics program for the whole country. Absolutely incredible, and anyone who participates in that is doing a fantastic job, and that's an amazing enterprise to be taken on in this particular Kehillat. I think that's one thing, is practically get your hands dirty, start shifting things to the front. But I think there are 2 other things as well, and I'm speaking specifically to an English-speaking audience as yourselves. I think you have to say, why are we here today? Our parents weren't here during this type of war. Our grandparents were not here. The people who were here a year ago who made Aliyah, 10 years ago didn't come and find this. People who will make Aliyah in the next 5 years will not be in this situation. We are here. We have an obligation. And I think that there are 2 things. Number one, those of you who are consuming social media and seeing everyday messages should be creating social media. Okay? The message is very clear. This is a battle of good versus evil. It's not aggressor versus victim. If it's aggressor versus victim, then it becomes a football match. The scores of the casualties will determine whether we can continue this fight. The battle is taking place on 2 fronts. The soldiers, the brave soldiers with the guns, are out there now. But there's a second front which is just as important, and I've just recruited every single one of you into the Israeli army. Okay? And what you're doing is no less important than what they're doing. It's much safer, but it's no less important. We need to maintain the right to fight this battle, and every day there have to be new messages as to why we are good and they are evil. It's obvious to us. It is not obvious to the people in the world. I can tell you that. I've spoken to media in Britain, in Austria recently, and they're seriously interested to know why this battle is different to any other battle. Why is it not Hutus versus Tutus? Why is it not Ukraine versus Russia? They do not understand. We need to explain it to them, we need to explain it to them, and we need to explain it to Jews as well in liberal communities and reform communities all around the world. That's number one. Number 2 is tzedakah. And I hear that there's a QR code for those in America, but I don't think it's enough just to give. I think it's great to give. I think we are English speaking, okay? The Israelis are all on the battlefield. We are the ones who could set up J-Give pages for the charities that need help, and we could raise money with campaigns, not just to our closest friend and family. We could do a bit of effort, and we could reach further out to communities around America, around Australia. We could target every single Jewish community, and we could run this as a massive campaign. Every single person could choose one charity and set up one page and make it their job to raise the money, and including Christian communities who would be only too happy as well. Evangelical communities, I'm sure in America, would be happy to give money as well. So we could set ourselves up with this objective. So I'd like to say that we have the opportunity to each take a project upon ourselves, and that will help us. I just want to end on this thought. When I went through this tragedy of my own, I had a brief time, a fantastic psychologist called Benji Lehman from Jerusalem, and he told me that my suffering was actually in 2 categories. He said, on the one hand, he said, you've got time which you never had before. You come home at night, your wife isn't there. You come home on the weekends, the time you would spend with your daughters, you don't have it. So every bit of time in your life which has been freed up by this tragedy, is going to be a reminder of all the terrible things that happened. So you'll remember. Secondly, he said, just thinking about them is going to bring back the memories of and the sad thoughts of where they could be today. So, Baruch Hashem, by Mazal, I ended up being very busy after the Shiva and ended up doing a number of different projects. And I found if I did a meaningful project, it actually helped me with both of these challenges. Number one, I was very busy. I didn't have time to think what I would be doing in that time. And number two, when each project was dedicated to Lucy or to Maya or to Rena, and therefore I felt when I was doing the project that I was actually remembering them, but in a positive way. So my recommendation is if you choose a project, something meaningful to you, and something meaningful to the war effort, you'll find two things. Number one, you'll be busy and you'll have less time to sit around and feel that you could be doing more because you'll be doing more. And number two, when you think about the korbanot, of the victims and the terrible tragedies that we have to see every day in our feeds, you won't think just about them in a sad way, but you'll actually think, wow, they inspired me to do these wonderful things for Am Yisrael. And we'll be able to remember them in the most positive and inspiring way. Am Yisrael Chai. I'm sure you'll all participate. Thank you very much.
I did not have nevuah to know what Rav Leo was going to speak about, but it was so obvious having gotten to know him over these challenging 6 months. I also need no nevuah to know that the video that you are about to watch is going to be inspiring and impressive, although productionally weak, because this is real action of what Alex and the Kehillat Eretz Hemdah has done in the last 18 days to do their part to change the world for a better. I ask you to turn your attention to the screen.
הלב שלי נקרא לשניים, מה שלא ראתה שפחה למים, כמו סופה מן הים עולה, כמו תופעה של מרים פועל, ואין תרופה בעולם. הלב שלי מרים ידיים, כבר מועד לא עומד.
For the past week, we've been distributing equipment to our chayalim up in the front in the different combat units. And as a community, we got together to support as much as we can also our own members who have been called up and also the rest of Am Yisrael who are fighting against the evil Hamas.
I was in New York City, away from my shul, away from my community, and I got a call that there was a war going on. We didn't even believe it. We got on a plane, we came straight back, and already before we even got here, hundreds of volunteers were coming together. We have put out over 1 million shekels in the first few days to be able to send things to the front lines.
Right now in this building, there are over approximately 75 to 100 volunteers doing everything from stringing tzitzis to wrapping and placing orders for the front lines, both in the north and the south. They're volunteers handling inbound calls to figure out what we can do to arrange housing for people who were displaced, to really provide for whatever the immediate needs are of the people in Israel.
We just received the shipment of 10,700 boxes of begadim, of tzitzit, that are going straight to the front lines. And they just came straight from the Haifa port. And we're going to make them, and they're going to go straight back out to the Chayalim.
Thank God we have one of the most powerful militaries in the world. However, there are different types of equipment and different types of assistance that the army doesn't necessarily provide will tremendously help the soldiers in the field. And that's where we stepped in.
אנחנו כאן נלחמים בצפון בשביל להגן על מדינת ישראל. כי רב הקהילה, היה לי מאוד קשה לעזוב את הקהילה בזמן הזה. בפרט בשמחת תורה. אני מאוד גאה בקהילה שלי, על ההתגייסות, על ההירתמות, 24 שעות 7. תודה רבה לכם, מסביב לכל העולם, על התמיכה, על העידוד. אנחנו מרגישים את זה. זה עוזר לנו. בעזרת השם, ננצח את המלחמה.
תודה רבה, קהילת ארץ חמדה מנסה עומק 98.
קהילת ארץ חמדה, תודה רבה לכם על הבסט.
Thank you, קהילת ארץ חמדה. Thank you, ארץ חמדה. תודה רבה לכם, ארץ חמדה. Thank you, קהילת ארץ חמדה. תודה רבה,
Hey, Eretz Hemdah community, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Eretz Hemdah.
Thank you, Eretz Hemdah.
Thank you guys so much for these amazing mattresses.
Thank you for Eretz Hemdah.
I want to wish a very, very warm thanks to the Kehillat Eretz Hemdah.
Thank you very much. תודה רבה רבה רבה.
We built a shul, but the shul has become more than a community. And this time we feel it more than ever before.
Don't stop, don't think. You'll go to that QR code immediately now and have an opportunity to participate in this important mitzvah of helping Kehillat Eretz Hemdah provide for the Chayalim that which they need physically and that which they need spiritually. A Kehillah is only as strong as its leader, and it gives enormous honor and privilege to be able to introduce the Morah Da'atra of Kehillat Eretz Hemdah, Rav Pinchas Biton, who came back from the front just now to share words of Chizuk with you. Rav Pinchas.
ערב טוב, בעברית. הראשון שיעשה את זה בעברית. ערב טוב, אני ברשות הרבנים החשובים שבאו מארצות הברית, כל הרבנים שנמצאים כאן איתנו, ברשות חברי הוועד, קהילה יקרה, ארץ חמדה, הרב בנג'י, הרב עמית שעומד לימיני, אלכס, טוביה, ריצ'רד, שלמה, כל חברי הקהילה היקרים, האהובים והנחמדים, וכל האורחים שבאו וכל מי שצופה מכל העולם, ברוכים הבאים ותודה רבה שבאתם. האמת אני אגיד שאני מופתע לעמוד כאן בשבת, אמרתי שאני אעמוד וידבר, קיוויתי שאני אשאר כל השבת, וכבר שבת בבוקר קראו לי בערב, לצערי חבר שלי חטף איזה משהו לא טוב ומסר את נשמתו. כבר שבת בבוקר הייתי צריך להגיע לשם, לנסוע בשבת, לא דבר פשוט. אבל ברוך השם, אנחנו כאן, עם ישראל כאן, חי. אני נמצא ממש ליד בגבול לבנון, משמש כרב גדוד של חטיבת אלכסנדרוני. חיילים שמוסרים נפש יום ולילה, ישנים בשטח, ישנים על הרצפה, אוכל לא אוכל, שינה לא שינה, אבל חיוך לא מש מפיהם, כל היום שמחים, מאוחדים, אוהבים. הייתי רוצה לספר לכם עכשיו דבר פלא שממש בהשגחה הוא נמצא אצלנו. אם מתבוננים פרשת לך לך, אברהם אבינו נמצא, מקבל הודעה שהאחיין שלו נשבע, שבו אותו בשבי. כאן רואים שהפרשיות שלנו הן ממש בהשגחה פרטית. רק פרשת שעברה, פרשת נוח, חמאס, אומר התרגום, התמליאת הרע חטופין, וגם הפרשה שלנו, פרשת לך לך. התורה אומרת שאברהם אבינו מקבל מסאג', מקבל הודעה, אחיין שלך, הוא בשבי. אברהם אבינו מסתכל, הוא בשבי, אז הולכים להציל אותו, הוא לא מחכה לקבינט, לאישורים, הוא מיד הולך, ויהרג את חניכיו, התורה אומרת, ילידי ביתו, 318 איש, יוצאים למלחמה. מול מי יוצאים למלחמה? מול 5 ענקים, מול צבא חזק. בהיבט צבאי בתור מפקד, זה בדיחה. לא יכול להיות ש318 לוחמים ילחמו מול 5 גיבורים גדולים עם צבא גדול. זה לא יכול להיות. אין שום אפשרות שאברהם אבינו ינצח את המלחמה הזאת. איך הוא יוצא לזה? הוא יוצא בביטחון, ויהרג את חניכיו בילידי ביתו, הוא יוצא בביטחון מלא. איך הוא עושה את זה? מאוחר יותר אנחנו מוצאים את החשמונאים. מי נלחם בחשמונאים? חשמונאים, מה, הם היו גיבורים? הם היו לוחמים? הם היו לומדים תוספות? אומרת הגמרא, לא. ככה הם היו, כל היום, כמו שלומדים אצלנו בארץ חמדה. הם לא היו גיבורים, הם לא למדו. אבל למה הם באו למלחמה? כי הם ידעו שיש להם את הקדוש ברוך הוא איתם. הם ידעו שיש להם אמונה וביטחון. הם ידעו שלא משנה מול מי אנחנו נלחמים וכמה אנחנו, יש לנו אמונה, יש לנו את הקדוש ברוך הוא איתנו. אין לנו שום אחד שיכול להציל אותנו. גם כשמדברים על צה"ל, וצה"ל חזק, אבל צה"ל לא יכול לנצח בלי ריבונו של עולם. צה"ל לא יכול לנצח בלי התפילות, בלי הדמעות, בלי החסד האינסופי. החמ"ל שפתחו בארץ חמדה, עכשיו שישבתי, חשבתי, חמ"ל ראשי תיבות, חסד מלא לשמה. קיבשו אותו, חסד מלא full time job לשמה. אין פה כבוד, not for respect, not for nothing. חסד מלא לשמה, מחיאות כפיים סוערות, ארץ חמדה. לא מובן מאליו, אנשים נותנים מהזמן שלהם בשביל החיילים, מוסרים יום ולילה, 24 שעות 7, גם בשבת, אם יש דברים. זה חמ"ל אמיתי. אמרתי, עולם חסד ייבנה. העולם בנוי על חסד. אברהם אבינו, יצחק ויעקב, דיברו כאן הקודמים לפני יפה. יצחק הביא את עמוד התפילה. סליחה. יצחק הביא את עמוד התפילה. יעקב הביא את עמוד התורה. אברהם אבינו הביא את עמוד החסד. במי חותמים? ברוך אתה השם, מגן אברהם. אברהם אבינו הביא את החסד. החסד הזה ממלא את העולם. החסד הזה מציל את העולם. כמה החסד שקהילה עושה, כמה החסד שכולם שותפים, כמה שמחה יש בשמיים, כמה השם שמח בכל החסד האינסופי הזה. בזמן הזה שלנו צריך לקחת 3 ויטמינים. ויטמין A, אמונה. זה הוויטמין A, אמונה בריבונו שלנו. השם טוב, השם מטיב, הוא רוצה רק חסד, הוא רוצה להטיב לנו. נכון, יש רגעים קשים, אבל זה חבלי לידה. כמו שבלידה יש קושי, כמו שבלידה יש צרחות, יש כאבים, אבל בסוף יוצא תינוק מתוק. גם עם ישראל הוא בלידה, אבל לידה הזאת היא לידה כואבת, אבל היא תיגמר במשיח צדקנו. היא תיגמר בבית המקדש, היא תיגמר בבשורות טובות. זה ויטמין A. ויטמין B זה ביטחון. אתמול שבאו הצדיקים אלינו, הם חוו לרגע מה יש בצפון. לא מדברים על הצפון, אבל הצפון יותר בוער מהדרום. אז בדיוק כשהם הלכו, סיימנו מנחה, ואמר לי המגד, בחוץ, לפני שיהיה בלגן. ואיך שהם יצאו, חטפנו המון פגזים, וחיל האוויר הגיע, והיה שם קרב לכמה שעות. ושעמדנו תחת המגננה, היו איתי 3 חיילים. אמרתי להם, תודה רבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. הכל נהיה בדברו. הכל כולל הכל. אז עמדו איתי 3 חיילים, והחיילים האלה היו עם הטלפונים, מסתכלים, what's going on? אמרתי, what's going on, nothing. Give me your telephone or a broken. Oh, who is going on? Who is speaking? I'm the rabbi. Okay. You the boss. לקחתי להם את הטלפון, עכשיו תהילים. אנשים שלא שומרים תורה מצוות, לא זכו. אמרתי להם, שיר למעלות, אשא עיני להרים, מאין יבוא עזרי? עזרי מעם אדוני יוצא שמיים בארץ. ואמרנו את זה עוד פעם ועוד פעם. יושב בסתר עליון, בצא שדי התלונן, עוד מזמור ועוד מזמור. ואמרתי להם, זה הנשק האמיתי שלנו. אי אפשר להילחם בלי הקדוש ברוך הוא. אי אפשר. לחיזבאללה יש חמה, יש צבא עצום, אבל לנו יש את הקדוש ברוך הוא איתנו. ויטמין B זה ביטחון, ביטחון בהשם, פתח בהשם מעשה טוב, שכון ארץ וראה אמונה. להיות בוטח בהשם, השם יעשה לנו חיל, הוא ינצח, הוא יעזור לנו לנצח. ויטמין C זה השמחה. גם ברגעים קשים אפשר לשמוח, יש הרבה חסד. אם נתבונן בחסד האינסופי שקורה כאן, אני אומר לכם, הקדוש ברוך הוא שמח מאוד על החסד האינסופי שמתקיים כאן. והחסד הזה הוא ממלא את כל העולם. החסד הזה הוא בונה אותנו, הוא מחזק אותנו, הוא נותן לנו כוחות לעמוד. החיילים שלי בגזרה, אומר לי, הרב, מה זה הקהילה הזאת? מה זה הדבר הזה? אמרתי, אם תבואו שבת, בכלל תתעלפו. רק תשמעו את התפילות, כולכם תשימו כיפות, ציצית, שכפ"ץ, תהיו דתיים, 100%, בלי בחירה, אין בחירה חופשית. אמרתי להם, תבואו, אני מזמין אתכם, יש מקום. הם מפחדים לבוא עכשיו. ואני יודע שהם יבואו, אין להם ברירה. הוויטמין האחרון זה ויטמין D, זה דיכאון, לא צריך. זה מקבלים מהשמש. ויטמין D מקבלים מהשמש, לא צריך אותו. כל העצבות, אפשר להיות עם לב נשבר, אבל לא עצוב. לב נשבר ונתקה, אלוהים לא תבזה. רחל אמנו זה ההילולה שלה, וזה אני אחתום. הלילה לפנות בוקר, זכיתי לקום מוקדם. אז היה שם אחד השומרים במחלקה, שהוא לא אדם ששומר תורה מצוות, הוא לא מכיר כלום לגמרי. ישבתי על הרצפה בדשא בחוץ, ואמרתי תיקון חצות, כמו יהודי ספרדי טוב. ישבתי על הרצפה, והתחלתי לבכות. הוא יושב מאחוריי, אמרתי הוא ייבהל, הוא יתעלף. אמרתי אין מה לעשות, אבל כואב הלב, איך לא נבכה? ו20 דקות אני יושב על הרצפה ויושב, אחרי זה מתפלל עוד קצת. הוא אומר לי, הרב, לאן אתה הולך? אמרתי לו, להתפלל. הוא אומר לי, מה עשית עד עכשיו? אמרתי לו, זה היה הכנה לתפילה. אז מה אמרת? אמרתי לו, אמרתי פסוקי תהילים של רחמים, ביקשתי מהשם רחמים. השם רחמן, אמרתי לו, בורא עולם תרחם עלינו. אנחנו הבנים שלך, תרחם, לנו כואב, לך כואב. וזה מה שרחל אימנו אמרה, אברהם לא הצליח לנחם, יצחק לא הצליח, יעקב לא הצליח, מי מצליחה? רחל אימנו, רחל מבכה על בניה, מענה לי ינחם, היא לא רוצה להפסיק, אומרת ריבונו של עולם, אני לקחתי לא רציתי שאחותי תתבייש, תיקח את הדמעות שלי. ובזה השם מתנחם. מה שנשאר לנו זה באמת, אחדות יש, תורה ברוך השם יש, תפילה יש, צריך להרבות את החסד, צריך להרבות את הדמעות החמות, את התהילים, כמו שהרב גיבר אמר יפה, תהילים בדמעות, לבקש רחמים מהשם יתברך. ואנחנו ניגאל, ממש בקרוב, צריך להחזיק חזק, בעזרת השם בקרוב נשמע שופרו של משיח. השופר שלי מוכן, לקחתי אותו איתי. תקעתי להם בשופר, אמרו לי, מה אתה עושה? אמרתי, אני מכין את עצמי. צריך להתכונן, להכין, לקנות את החליפות, לקחת את הכל, השם יגאל אותנו גאולת עולמים, בעזרת השם. תודה רבה לכולכם על כל החסד והעשייה, אוהבים אתכם המון.
שלום לכם, קהילת ארץ חמדה ובוקה רטון קומיוניטי, זה עקיבא. רציתי להיות איתכם בערב המרגש, שאתם מתפללים ומחזקים את החיילים, אבל אנחנו נאלצנו להישאר כאן יחד עם הפלוגה שלי בגבול הצפון, ואני רוצה לשלוח לכם חיבוק גדול ותודה לכם על כל השפע הגדול שאתם הבאתם לנו ולעוד הרבה חיילים. תודה על התפילות שלכם, על האחדות שאתם מביאים אלינו, תודה על הציוד הנפלא שהבאתם לנו, ובעזרת השם עם ישראל חי, עם ישראל ינצח, ושולח לכם אהבה גדולה.
Harav, I cannot tell you how inspiring that was for us and everybody who was watching. I'd now like to ask Rav Yonatan Razel to come and share tefillos with us.
Good evening, everybody. Like many of us who've been traveling south, north, meeting the soldiers, I think there's nothing like Jewish soldiers. חיילים של צבא ישראל. All delicate, brave. I want to sing a song about David HaMelech, David Avdi. That he was also the best soldier we had, but also a singer, a musician. Let's sing to the world. Unfortunately, it's a long, long journey. Very painful. והיא שעמדה לאבותינו, והיא שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו, שלא אחד מלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, עמד עלינו לכלותנו. בוא נשמע אתכם. לאבותינו ולנו, שלא אחד מלבד עומד עלינו לכלותנו, עומד עלינו לכלותנו. והקדוש ברוך הוא כן מצילנו מידם, והקדוש ברוך הוא יצילנו, יצילנו. והיא שעמדה לאבותינו, והיא שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו, שלא אחד מלבד עומד עלינו לכלותנו, עומד עלינו לכלותנו. We're not worried because Hashem is with us. כי הקדוש כן מצילנו. והקדוש ברוך הוא יצילנו, יצילנו מידם, שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו. והקדוש ברוך הוא כן מצילנו מידם, הקדוש ברוך הוא יצילנו, יצילנו. יצילי What? אני מאמין באמונה שלמה, הביאה המשיח. אני מאמין, אני מאמין אמונה שלך הביאה ואף על פי שהתמהמה כל זה אחכה לו ואף על פי שהתמהמה Even takes so long. Look at us, we're still waiting every day. ואף על פי שהתמהמה כל זה still waiting. אחכה לו לכל יום שיבוא, לכל יום שיבוא. ואף על פי שהתמהמה כל זה still waiting. One more time. ואף על פי שהתמהמה Should we sing a happy song or is it not a happy song?
Can we do it right after Rabbi Goldberg speaks?
Lina, I'm going somewhere else.
Rabbi
but
Yonatan
Hashem bless
Razel,
you all.
Rabbi Yonatan Razel, wow.
הטוב, 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 כי לא חלו רחמך והמרחם, כי לא תמו חסדיך, כי מאוי לו, כי מאוי לו, כי מאוי לו, כי מיונה. הטוב, 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 כי לא חלו רחמך והמרחם, כי לא תמו חסדיך, There's no despair.
I clearly misspoke when I thanked Rav Yonatan Razel. Now I'd like to thank Rav Yonatan Razel. Thank you. If everyone could please safely find your seats. I was asked to introduce the following speaker just briefly by mentioning his name, but I'm going to take advantage of the 30 seconds that it will take for people to find their seats to share with you that this week's parsha begins with Lech Lecha. One of my favorite Mefarshim describes that everybody was told Lech Lecha, but only Avram heard the call. Only Avram heard the call and acted on the call. And when Alex told me that Rabbi Brody and Rabbi Gibber and Rabbi Goldberg were coming to Eretz Yisrael in the middle of a war to do what they could, it was not surprising, it was not shocking, it was taken for granted. Because when the call Lech Lecha goes out, there's not a doubt that Rabbi Goldberg answers the call. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Goldberg.
I really davened hard in the middle of that dancing that the amazing people who put this program together would be smart enough to just end it right there. Because nothing could top that feeling. Of singing and dancing with holy, precious soldiers, with what they faced and what they will face, jumping up and down to Ein Shum Yeyosh Ba'olam Klal, and Ani Mamin, and Ein Lanu Amil Lihisha Ein. There are no words, there is no speech, there is nothing to say that is more powerful, more passionate, more impactful, more compelling than that experience, than that image, and then that moment. B'shus Rav Biton, to see Rav Biton and Rav Elyada tonight, two Talmidei Chachamim in their uniforms, to see HaSefer v'HaSayef before our very eyes, is to see why we can be so confident in the future of Am Yisrael and Klal Yisrael. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Kehillat Eretz Hemdah, I will be honest, I wasn't familiar with them until recently. But I might be their biggest fan in the entire world, having spent the last 2 days. Yeah. On Sunday, our friend Stuart Rubin made an introduction to Alex, and from there we've spent most meaningful hours together in the north and in the south and everywhere in between. And what you are doing, we supposedly came to give Chizuk, which is absurd on its face. And every one of you who said thank you for coming just drive a dagger into my heart because of how pathetic we are. Thank you for coming. Thank you for living, for being on the front lines, a target on behalf of Klal Yisrael, your children and grandchildren, your spouses and your family fighting for our people, our war everywhere in the world. This is not your war, it's our world. These are not your enemies, they're our enemies. These are not your casualties, they're our losses. And you are on the front lines. And so thank you, Eretz Hemdah, thank you to all of you who are here tonight. Rav Dee, Rav Leo, this new pain of 1,400 Kedoshim doesn't take away at all, doesn't distract us from the pain of our 3 Kedoshim. There's enough room in our hearts to grieve and to continue to feel each and every loss. They're never replaced or upended or upstaged. Thank you for sharing your powerful message of optimism. Thank you for being the powerful message of optimism for us all. There are so many people to acknowledge and thank. The hour is late, and you'll forgive me if I don't take the time. But we would be remiss, I would be remiss if I didn't just say to all of the soldiers in this room, we are in awe of you. Not just tonight, not just today and not just tomorrow, but always. And wherever our Jews are, anywhere in the world, we're davening for you. We've never meant the Mishaberach v'Tzahal more or said it more often. We're davening every minute and every hour of every day. We love you, we thank you, we are beyond words indebted to you. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the many seminary students and yeshiva bachrim who are here in the room tonight. While we are so in awe of the soldiers, we are beyond proud of you. You, with no judgment of those who've had to make other choices. Each person did what they need to for themselves, but you stayed and you continue to participate and to be part of the Jewish destiny. The statement that you make by being here, the value of every tefillah that you offer, of every moment of learning, of every action that you take, the statement to Hamas that terror will not drive you away, the statement you make to Am Yisrael here in Eretz Yisrael that you're not going anywhere, we could not be more proud of you than we are. We love you and we thank you. Rabbi Brody, Rabbi Gibber, and I came not to speak words, but to deliver something that could only be delivered in person, and that is hugs. Hugs and kisses. I don't think I ever hugged in my entire life as many people as I have the last 2 days. Because that's all we want, is to give a hug. As a holy member of my shul, Charlie, whenever we go in for a hug, he moves me and he shows me that the Jewish way, you have to hug so that your heart is touching the heart of the person that you're hugging. You have to hug on the right side. Achi, yeah, who were talking in the car today, Daniel, my holy new friend, Daniel Schneller. Wow, what a tzaddik. I said, you know, it's not a very popular expression in the Jewish community in America when you see someone to say, hey, brother. But I've noticed in the last 2 days that everybody's calling each other Achi, Achshali, Achi, my brother, my brother. We're all brothers, we're all sisters. That's the feeling, that's the energy. So we came to give a hug, but we're here for 2.5 days. How do you How do you communicate and how do you transmit eternal love in 3 days? You can't. You can't. What we've seen, what we've experienced, what needs to be done is not in a day or 3 days. It's not in 3 months or 3 years. There's so much to do, and that's why we're not here for this trip. This was a pilot trip to come back with bus loads and with plane loads. Some who will stay permanently, please God, as every one of us continues to consider not if, but when we will put our lot in the destiny of the Jewish people in this homeland that we daven for every single day. And others are not yet ready to be here permanently, but we will continue to come. We're not going anywhere. This isn't over for you, and it won't be over for us until everyone is home. Those who've been taken captive and those who are serving on the front lines, our lives are interrupted, and we will not stop davening and working and donating and volunteering. We will not stop until you can stop, and we will not stop running towards and coming until you can find time to breathe. You know, at first it struck me a little peculiar that it's incredible musicians. They're not musicians. These are paitanim. These are poets of the Jewish people. And nobody on stage tonight, I don't know if you felt the same as I did, nobody here sang. They davened. They davened with their singing voices and lifted us all, and we're so lucky to have all of them. And it should be acknowledged that the amazing talent that we experienced tonight, everybody donated. They contributed their time to be able to bring Am Yisrael together wherever we are. Because that's what this time demands, is that each and every one of us dig deep, whether we are literal reservists or whether we are the reservists called Am Yisrael. Every one of us is being asked to dig deep and put parts of our lives, if not our whole lives, on hold, to serve with whatever talents and whatever gifts that we have, to bring it to the fore, to contribute and to transform and to repair and to redeem this world and bring the light that we also desperately look forward to. So when we first were crafting this program, and I was getting texts from the program from the thousands who are watching elsewhere, and they said, how exactly did this come together in a matter of a few hours? But that's Kehillat Eretz Hemdah. I don't know how they put this together in a few hours. But I thought to myself, is it really a contradiction? Music, is this a time really for concerts and for music? Is that really the emotion and the energy that we're meant to have during this most critical and urgent time for Klal Yisrael? And I thought to myself, it's exactly what we need, because music is the language of the soul. Music is what binds, it's what bonds us together. Music is what moves us, and it's what stirs us, it's what lifts us, it's what empowers us, it's what inspires us. Kisvu lachem es hashira hazos, the Torah refers to the totality of Torah as a shira. The whole Torah we're meant to write and etch in our hearts as a song. Why is Torah likened to a song? Because a song is not a script that you read. It's not something you deposit or deliver. A song is something that you sing. It stirs your soul and your imagination. It moves you and transforms you. And that's what Torah is meant to do. That's what we did tonight. The Gemara Brachos tells us, B'makom rina sham tehei tefillah. In the place of this rina, of this song, and of these dancing, that is the very place, that is the depth, that is the most authentic tefillah that we can offer. The Alter Rebbe, the Baal HaTanya, says there are gates of Shamayim, gates of heaven, that only can be opened. The key that opens them is melody and song. Shlomo Melech in Kehillat read the terrible morning just a few weeks ago. While there is a lamed that interrupts between ace, there's a time le for this and a time le for that. There are two exceptions to that rule where there is no lamed. And one of them is ace sefod, ace rekod. It's not a contradiction to be able to offer eulogies and to grieve, to be able to think about and mourn the horrific and unimaginable pain in our heart, but to be able to move our feet, to daven with our feet at the same time, Eis Sefod and Eis Rekod, and that's what tonight is all about, but it's something even more. Something magical about music and about song. It happened in here. You all contributed and participated a moment ago, and I'm confident those watching at home, while they had no audience to hear them, were singing and dancing on the top of their lungs as well. If you and I are speaking at the same time, you know what we get? We get static. We're interrupting one another. There's a friction. You can't hear each person. There's a static when we're trying to talk over one another or we're talking at the same time. But you know what happens? And we saw it demonstrated over and over tonight, and it was magical. When two people sing at the same time, there's harmony. There's symphony. Music is the ability to each express our distinct and unique voice, but to have it complement and integrate and be more beautiful and more magical than if we were singing all alone. That's Am Yisrael, that's Klal Yisrael. This urgent time, this horrific atrocity didn't erase our differences. We're not pretending to have a uniformity. We each still sing on our key. We each still offer our voice. But it's giving us, if not uniformity, it's giving us a unity. It's providing a harmony that we so desperately were waiting for, longing for. And it's here, and we have to bottle it, and we have to capture it, and we have to hold on to it, and we have to make sure it lasts long beyond. Please God, this will be over swiftly and quickly with a triumph and a victory, and everyone back home safely. But we have to bottle these magical feelings, this harmony, this symphony, this song of Klal Yisrael, this unity, not uniformity, this celebration of our diversity, not divisiveness. It has to be the new definition of who we are. It has to be how we function. It has to be the endless song that we refuse to stop singing, and we can. So we didn't come to give chizuk. I'm not in a position to give any chizuk to the people who are mechazik us simply by existing here, by living here, by getting through each and every day here, with what you face, with what we face. No, I'm not here to give chizuk, I'm here to give hugs. But I want to tell you where I get my chizuk. Just this last day and a half, and there's so many stories, I won't take the time, I know it's late. But you'll bear with me for a moment, because what I get chizuk from this last day and a half is coming here and seeing supposedly ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Perhaps that they never knew themselves they were capable of doing. Alex and his team and this Kehillat and the impact that they are having. But we went to incredible places. And yesterday, as Rabbi Gibber said, Tel HaShomer Hospital, soldiers, and the volunteer security of Shlomit, Michael, Rabbi Mayad Ma'atim, we heard before the story of Hanukkah, literally relived in our time. Four volunteer Shomrim of the Yishuv took on 10 terrorists. And 2 of the Shomrim were lost, Hashem Yikom Damam. And Michael was shot. And he lay with blood pouring from his body for 2 hours saying Shema Yisrael over and over, wondering if the terrorists were coming back to end his life, but knowing that the only thing that stopped them from going door to door in his Yishuv were whatever bullets remained in his gun. And lying in that bed in Tel HaShomer Hospital, he didn't say, the day I get out, I'm moving to Boca. I'm going to lie under the palm trees by the pool and sip pina coladas. I'm going to nurse my wounds. I've served my time. He didn't say that. You know what he said? I can't wait to get out of here, together with his wife Leah. He said, the day I get out of this hospital, I'm going back to Shlomit, part of the amazing city of Chalutza in the south, and we're going to build the next house. We're going to expand our community. We're going to add and invite more families, and we're going to start to get ready for Simchas Torah next year. We're on the very same place. We lost 2 friends and we defended our Yishuv. We will take our Sifrei Torah and we will sing and dance to the eternity of Am Yisrael. That's where I'm going, and that's what I'm waiting for, and that's why I want to get better. As his leg is in a cast and his arm is in a bandage, and he's literally lying and writhing in pain, but can't wait to get out, to get back to what he was doing, which is building the future of the Jewish people. Today we were in the south. We met a commander, so humble and modest, he wouldn't let us take a video, he wouldn't let us put his face. But he said, I want you to know that Shabbat morning, that Simchas Torah morning, when we found out what was happening, he said, I looked at my wife, who has stage 4 cancer. He said, I have 3 children at home, 2 of them are severely autistic. And my wife didn't hesitate. And she says, there is your bag, go. And I don't know if he's been home in 2.5 weeks. There he was with his men in the south, defending us, fighting for us. And us doesn't mean you here in Eretz Yisrael, we here. We know Jews wherever we are in the world, and we've seen the ugly head of anti-Semitism and Hamas terrorist sympathizers We've seen it's revealed something we should be terribly afraid of. Visiting army bases in the north and the south, seeing you and experiencing this on the stage tonight, you're going to be okay. Israel's going to be okay. We will have to nurse our wounds and we will mourn and grieve, but you will be okay. But what will be with the Jews on university campuses? What will be the Jews with some of the members of Congress? What will be the Jews of legacy media who perpetrated a blood libel against our people last week? What will be with Jews outside of Israel? That might be even more fraught with danger than what will be with the Jews inside. But our confidence comes from this commander whose wife said, go, and he didn't turn back. We went to Ofakim today and we stopped at the Makolet because Alex, the day after the war broke out, as a volunteer Hatzalah member, United Hatzalah, went to Ofakim, and the Makolet right at the entrance of Ofakim was open, but not to do business. There was a table outside. Anything was free for soldiers, and he gave a cup of coffee to the United Hatzalah volunteers. So we stopped just to say thank you, and we wanted to make a contribution. I'll just tell you a story, not to pat my community on the back. I promise you not. But because you need to know how much your brothers and sisters, the Jews wherever they live, feel connected and apart. This past Shabbos, I finished my drasha, and a beloved Israeli member of our community, Shlomi, who Yonatan reminded me of when he ignored what was asked. Shlomi, I finished the drasha, and before Moshav can begin, he got up on the bima without my permission and without my knowledge, and he said, Chevra, the rabbi's going to Israel this week. He needs $100,000 cash to hand out. We don't begin Moshav until 100 hands go up that are giving $1,000 each. It didn't take a matter of minutes, it took a matter of seconds. And what a privilege it is to share that, not to pat ourselves on the back. It's a fraction of a nothing of a nothing. I share it not to take pride, but only to communicate how much we are with you, how much our lives are interrupted. So we stopped at that makola to give a few of those dollars and to say, give your inventory to whatever soldiers, whatever you could help. But the owner of the makola wasn't there. There was someone manning the cash register. So Alex asked, where is he? And he got him on the phone. And we said, where are you? And he said, I set up an entire area for soldiers. That's where I am day and night. We said, good, stay there. We're coming to you. And in Ofakim, we visited people. One who lost a 19-year-old son, a soldier, who was drafted 6 months ago, but was one of the first to go into Gaza. People whose homes were destroyed by the enemies who infiltrated Ofakim, as you know, was hurt and hit so badly. But we went to go find Yaakov, the Makolet owner. And what we saw there was maybe a little piece of heaven here on earth. We saw a piece of Shamayim here on earth. Because Yaakov set up, I don't even know what that space is normally used for, 2 floors. He made a place where soldiers can come who are switching out their shift of going on the border, maybe into Gaza, and he's feeding them. 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He's just feeding 400 soldiers a day himself. A couple volunteers. His pocket, whatever contributions he can get. His business, his life is on hold. And he's feeding 400 soldiers a day, and there are mattresses everywhere. And there are letters that come from abroad that are hung on the walls everywhere. If you're in Chutz La'aretz, and you or your child wrote a letter, and you think, what a silly waste of time. Does that really do anything or mean anything? Do they just tear it up and throw it out when you walk away? Our experience in the face of soldiers who are handed these letters. One soldier today took the letter from a child, folded it, and put it in his vest and said, I'm taking it with me into battle because this letter is what's going to protect me. The unity and the connection with the children of Chutz La'aretz, this is what's going to protect me. Those letters matter. They were hanging all over that space. Yaakov's an ordinary makolet owner in Ofakim. I don't think he's a famous celebrity. You never would have heard of him. But he's doing the most extraordinary thing. Because that's what Klal Yisrael do. That's what Am Yisrael do. That's what we do. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And we in this room may feel ordinary. If you're living here and persevering here, then you are doing extraordinary things with your fortitude and with your resolve and with your faith and with your ability to get to the end of each day and do what needs to be done. You're an ordinary person. You're not ordinary. You're doing extraordinary things. But those outside of Israel, those watching who are ordinary, need to step up and do extraordinary things because this is an extraordinary time. This is a time where the truth will come out about who we are. In our Parsha, Hashem tells Avram Avinu that he's going to be very special and he's going to have very holy and very special progeny. And he gives him 2 brachas. They're going to number the sands of the sea, and they're going to be like the stars of Shamayim. Two brachas, neither of which really make sense on their own. Certainly in combination, they maybe even seem to contradict. You know, the sand of the beach is negligible. It's insignificant. It's nothing. Each grain of sand on its own is worthless. Yet when you combine them, they become the beach. They are the barrier that guards the land from the sea. Am Yisrael, we can't afford to be grains of sand, each living independently and alone and apart from one another. It's only when we are combined and united that we can be that front, that line that holds the border from that which seeks to come on top of it, that which seeks to infiltrate it. We have to unite like the sands of the sea. But at the same time, we have to be like the stars of Shamayim, a shining star, each of us, not ordinary, but each of us finding our mission, our purpose, our extraordinary selves in this extraordinary time. Medrash tells us that sand has another fascinating facet. The sand, these particles, they're negligible, they're insignificant. But if you apply heat to sand, you know what you get? You get glass. You get crystal. You get a kli, a vessel that can hold something special and significant. As was said, what Hamas didn't realize is that when they turn the heat up on the Jewish people, we come together, we mold and meld together. We become a holy crystal, a prism of light. We become united and together as one. What is the blessing to be like the stars? Avram, go outside. Look up at the heavens. Count the stars if you can. Because this will be your children. And the Mefarshim asked, count the stars? Do you know how many galaxies there are? Do you know how many trillions of stars there are in the sky? It's impossible. It's an impossible task. It's an impossible mission. Go outside and count stars? It's impossible. Says Rav Meir Shapira Zatzal's Yurtzeit, we just observed, the great Rosh Hashiva of Chachmei Lublin, the founder of Daf Yomi, who lived this message, this interpretation that he offered. What does it mean that Hashem told Avram, go outside and look up and count those stars? Because Ko Yeh Zarecha. Avram Avinu didn't say it's impossible. Avram Avinu didn't say, where do I start? Avram Avinu didn't say, why bother, it can't be done. Avram Avinu said, we will make the impossible possible. We will accomplish what others think can't happen. Avram Avinu said, let me start 1, 2, 3. And Hashem said that quality, that capacity, that fortitude and that resolve, the ability to stare the world in the face and to turn the impossible into the possible, Ko Yeh Zarecha. That will be the quality that you impart and instill in your children. That no matter what odds they face, Rabim biyad ma'atam, Gibborim biyad chalashim, no matter what they confront, no matter how many enemies surround, no matter a world opinion, Ko Yeh Zarecha, they will believe that the impossible is possible. They will know that if Hashem asks, then we can get it done. And that word ko has come to define us. Ko sevarchu es b'nei Yisrael, v'ani v'anar nelcha ad ko. And every time you see that word ko in Chumash and in Tanakh, it is turning back to that bracha. Ko Yeh Zarecha. Hashem says, go outside and count the stars. We don't say it's impossible. The odds are against us. It can't be done. We say, where do we begin? How do we start? Because we're going to get this done. If it's what you ask, it's who we are, and it's what we can be. It's what we're going to have happen. It is the triumph and it is the victory. And says the Sfas Emes, that's why, as the Rav pointed out, B'cha Chosmim, we invoke Yitzchak and Yaakov, but B'cha Chosmin, Avram is how we conclude Magen Avraham. For the rest of this war and for the rest of our lives, we need to have kavanah and think. When we say those words, Magen Avram, said the Holy Sfas Emes, Hashem has preserved that capacity in us. That faith and that fortitude, that confidence and that clarity, that capacity to make the impossible possible. Magen Avram, He has protected it, He has preserved it, it's inside us, it is our very DNA, it's who we are and it is what we are made of, and it's who we will become, it is the difference that we're going to make. And so while there's so much more to share, I leave you with this tefillah on a night that we didn't formally say any Tehillim, but we didn't need to because every song was a tefillah. And our mere presence arm in arm is a tefillah. And the dancing of our feet was a tefillah. I offer this tefillah. Let us be inspired by an incredible Kehillat of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Let us be inspired by fighters on the front line who can't wait to go back home to keep building. To Yaakov, the Makolet owner, who is my new hero for what he is doing day and night. Those in America asking, some of my colleagues and friends have said, so is there something to do? Does it pay to come now? If you brought everyone, you couldn't scratch the surface on what needs to be done, the help we can offer, the camaraderie and the connection that we can feel, the difference that we can all make if we come together. But the vision of those in uniform here tonight, modern day Gibborim, heroes, malachim, as we sang and davened earlier, let that inspire all of us to look up at those stars and to remember Magen Avraham. That we don't question whether we can get it done or if we'll get it done, but we know if Hashem asked us to do it, the impossible is possible. That if we are a group of ordinary people doing extraordinary things in this extraordinary time, then Amir Tzah Hashem, Am Yisrael Chai will not just be a song we continue to sing. Soloveitchik said the word Am comes from the word Im. You're a nation when you are connected together with one another. Let us sing Am Yisrael Chai, Im Yisrael Chai, because Chazak, Chazak, V'nis Chazek, please God, we will hear Yeshua's V'nachamas Bekarov. Thank you.
Amongst the list of things never to do in life is to speak after Rabbi Goldberg. We're going to spend just 2 seconds now and channel that inspiration that we've had this evening of Chizuk into action. If you are listening live, take out your wallets and give. And don't give what you can give what hurts to give. Imagine the soldiers who are on the front line. Imagine their spouses who are thinking about them. Imagine their kids who are davening for them. Imagine their parents who are worried about them. If you are watching online, take out your wallet and book a ticket. Come here and don't bring money, but bring hugs. If you're sitting here and you're in yeshiva or seminary and you have a seder that ends at 10, forget 10. 11 is the new 10. Extend one more hour, not of batala and not of conversation, but of Torah and of tefillah. And if you wake up on time for davening, you normally show up at 7:15 to the 7 o'clock shachris, and yes, I'm speaking directly to myself at this moment, show up at 6:55. Because we have to do something that is not ordinary. We have to do something that is extraordinary, because that is the time that we live in. I ask everybody now as we conclude to take out your phone. I'm not going to charge you anything. Take out your phone. And to somebody for whom will be responsible for you following through on your pledge and your promise, whatever that commitment is now, text, WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, your spouse, your parents, your children, your best friend. Tonight I heard from these rabbis from America, from these Gibborim from Eretz Yisrael, and I didn't just enjoy it, but I did something about it. And before Shabbos, make sure that they check on you, that you fulfilled your promise. We wish everybody a tremendous night. Thank you to Kilas Eretz Hemdah. Thank you to the tremendous Rabbanim. I believe that there will be Arvit, Mariv here and probably over there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.